Which also, slight aside about the recap thing, for the past, I think, 4 sessions, every single time we've come up to the recap point, I have actually forgotten the word recap. And you can, and if you listen to the VODs, if you go back and listen, struggle to come up with a replacement word for recap.
We're gonna do a redo, a undone, another talking about it.
A retelling, a look back, a flashback, if you will.
A tape.
So recap. Last session, the party finished up in the mine shaft number 3, owned by the Avalon Company, just about 45 minutes north or so of the small village of Yellowstream. Primarily, the party was in combat with a large metallic ooze that had the ability and just voracious hunger for precious metals, of which, the party has a considerable amount of. And it was one of those summoned creatures with the floaty little summoning room thing on the top. And it was like, hey, give me your yum-yums. And so, it came after you guys. And y'all beat the absolute tar out of the damn thing. Even after it, rolled through multiple walls of fire, it did not give a shit. And it did some serious structural damage to the, platform that you guys were standing on. You were able to still take things out. As a matter of fact, speaking of, June's combat prowess, even though she's technically been operating with a handicap, it was in fact June who managed to score a critical on the summoning room, shattering it and sending that thing back to the friggin' shadow realm wherever it came from, which was all good and cool. So the party, after gathering themselves back together, because that ooze, like several things that came before it, hit like a fucking truck. You guys went to the back of the cave, and in the back of the cave, or back of the mine, excuse me. Well, in the back of the mine, there was a cave. And this cave was a recently, dug out, excavated hole in the wall of the mine that was not traveling in the same direction like the mine was traveling. You guys could easily see where the vein of ore was that the mine is, slowly digging out. This was adjacent to that. This was taking a friggin' turn that you otherwise take unless you knew something was there. And this recently cleared out space had inside of it a room that was very clearly made by people, or human-sized, mostly human-shaped, considering where, all the surfaces and everything were located at. Room. And it was made out of a material that the party could not, actually identify. It seems to be some kind of ceramic. And it was phased into the rock. Not so much that it was buried, but that it was, phased into the space, probably via some sort of, teleportation thing. And there were a couple of wacky things that were going on with all of that. There was some time disturbance shenanigans going on that whatever the fuck that is, that has not become clear yet. But it was also structurally not very sound. And after a little look-sees, the party managed to determine that there was a couple of points that were basically doing all of the literal heavy lifting of keeping this place open. And they found several cabinets, drawers, and shelves and whatnot that were located inside of this room that contained fantastical pieces of equipment, which was all good. And ultimately, what was decided to be the safest route to do things with was to basically just attach tethers and hooks to Mr. Servos to the drawers and whatnot that contained these things, and just have Mr. Servos haul ass and rip everything out the door so that just in case the thing collapses, nobody was inside, which is in fact what fucking happened. But the party managed to get a hold of a bunch of this stuff, as well as a bunch of interesting, we'll call them intellectually interesting artifacts that aren't really useful for anything specific. Although they would be useful for someone like Callie to do materials research and things like that. So yeah, Callie collected some loose bits essentially that have this material in it, so that she can try to figure out what the hell this is and what usage she may be able to put it to. But there was also a lot of treasure, a lot of gold, that sort of stuff. So when you guys made it back to Yellow Stream, it was honestly with quite a bit of fat loot that you guys were like dragging back. However, though, the party had been basically like beaten to hell and back by the time you guys got back to Yellow Stream. I'm going to make the assumption that you guys like rolled back into Yellow Stream. Somebody went up to like the Council of Old Ladies. It was like, hey, we took care of the shit in the mine. There was a minor collapse. There's been some structural damage and whatnot, but at the moment, there's nothing alive in there. And then the party otherwise retired in Yellow Stream over here to the boarding houses, which normally hold itinerant miners who like come in every now and again to like pick up extra work and stuff like that at the mine when it's active. But since it hasn't been active now for a couple of weeks, that's all gone. There is basically one dude in town who's technically in charge of like just keeping an eye on the boarding houses, and he's not even like charging you guys for you to stay there. They're just letting you stay there because you're the representatives of the Pathfinder Society who came in to take care of their monster problem.
It's probably turn on the spare rooms into the laboratory already at this point.
Yeah, one of them's already picked up like some stains that they're not going to get out of.
It's like
but either way,
come out of hardwood.
But besides all of that, the party did take a couple of days to rest and recuperate, and it was brought back up again by the council that like they've seen scouts from this one Colo tribe that has been problems. They haven't caused any direct problems for Yellowstone, but it is literally just a matter of time. And with like the first snow of the year having already happened, this raiding tribe of Colos is going to come raiding the softest target for miles, like pretty goddamn soon. So while the party was still in its recuperation phase, the Vanguard, Tim, Mr. Sniffer, like war tragedy dog, and of course our resident Magus, all went out into the forest to like poke around and see if they could figure out where these Colos are bedding down at. And a couple of miles from Yellowstone, Seamus was the one who drew the short straw, if you think about it, and found the Colos. Thankfully, he managed to find them at a distance, so they did not immediately notice him. But Seamus was able to get a general head count and a look at the sort of forces that you guys would be going up against in order to tackle the Colos. The Colos, as far as like head count is concerned, there is a little bit more than a dozen of these guys. So you got like maybe 13, 14 Colos, like functional adults and whatnot that are that are part of this little like raiding party. They are led by a Colo female who was seen briefly walking around the camp area. She is head and shoulders taller than everybody. She is almost as tall as Gloria. She's really pushing that like quote unquote medium size tag. She, besides the fact that she was very large, she was armed with a big ass scythe. She was wearing some decorative like robe armor kind of like get up thing. She looked to be extraordinarily pregnant, like she might go into labor at any but she was walking around like she fucking owned the place, and everyone was reacting to her like she fucking owned the place, because walking next to her was a flaming goat demon, and every time it looked at anybody, that like murderous raiding Colo was all like, I'm busy over here, boss, I'm busy over here, I'm
doing this thing.
Oh shit, the boss is walking around better busy.
Yeah, so when the boss and like her Sugar Goat were like fucking walking around and looking at things, they were all pretending to be like extremely fucking busy. But besides the big tribal Colo woman, who is like the boss, and her fuckboy goat demon, there is also like at least one of those hyena horse things that you guys met on the road one time, which is also like demon adjacent. There is at least one more of those like bears that the Colos have been using as beast of burden and or attack dog. One of them was seen with a small Colo riding around on it, a young Colo, just like midget Colo, unknown. But, like, yeah, he was just a little guy, but he was riding on one of the big sticky bears, and just having like a little bit of fun. He did that. The baby Colo though did have more than a passing resemblance to like the big boss Colo lady, so might be one of her kids.
Not good.
But either way, that's what you're looking at. You got a bunch of Colos. They do have at least one demon. They've got at least one kind of demon, and they've also got like the really big buffed out tribeswoman who is just gonna like have a lot of fun tearing you guys to pieces.
Joke's on you. I'm
now. Well, jokes on all of us, because the thing was, Callie came up with a plan on like how to deal with the Colos, spurred on a little bit by the fact that the lizard wizard managed to run away with his kobold minions, which Callie was really looking forward to making them hurt. Callie has decided to upgrade from lizards to mammals, and has figured out a way to craft a potion. Let's call it that. A potion, and aerosolize it in order to like basically gas bomb like an area, and theoretically render some of the Colos like passive, so that they won't actually be, they won't put up a fight basically. This is not for slaughter. Let's make that clear. This is not for slaughter. This is so that those Colos can be, taken into custody and processed.
Air quotes, custody.
Yeah.
They will see no legal entity.
Relocate.
Yeah, Callie's like, we already have kobolds at home. We need to diversify our workforce.
Something else that has K's in it. Colos. There we go.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, she just marked.
Callie, Colos, and kobolds. That's wait.
Kobold? No. Colo. There we go.
I know what he's laughing about.
I know what he's laughing about too.
I hate it.
Okay.
June's just gonna like be like, it is not gonna like. Well, I probably shouldn't be concerned about hurting them, but as long as we don't have to, absolutely slaughter them. But self-defense is self-defense.
But Jamal, my whole life is self-defense.
Yeah. And I mean, it was only a matter of time before they decided to take out this truly innocent town. I mean,
Kill a bunch of people,
yeah.
That is the thing of doing nothing.
Callie
gets wiped out.
Callie kind of looks at June and is like, well, at least with this solution, we don't kill all of them, and they get to relocate to someone that's in.
And
Plus, I mean,
how do you know?
Callie's
And how do you know
workshop isn't
exactly
that
that?
bad.
And how do you know exactly that they're going to be on board of it once we do capture them?
Because I'm gonna gas them so hard, they're gonna worship me like a god. All right.
Callie is about to literally invent gaslight.
Just he has like a
Callie
hard
Callie's
raised
like,
eyebrow. It's like,
Callie's Aloy's like got her goggles and shit on. It's like this shit's so strong. I don't know if you guys should be inhaling some of this shit. Probably
This
weed.
shit gonna have you wasted.
Yeah, you guys come like knock on the door. She opens the door and like she's replaced all of the filters on her, like, you know, like water suit and everything, and she's like, "Hey, you don't want to walk in.
Yeah, don't go in there.
Don't go in there." So, with all of that said, and all of that done, now that you guys know what you're up against, you generally know what the idea is as far as like the plan is concerned. How are we going about achieving this plan?
Well, we gotta lure them all into, or at least most of them, into one area to gas them all at once, or most of them at once. What? So the question is like, what would attract a bunch of the entire tribe of Kolos to essentially coalesce in a one given specific area?
Food.
Well, I mean,
Food is very very likely.
Food's very likely, but I mean, they're all kind of already in one area. It's a larger area, but they're all at camp, so you could just gas the whole camp.
The whole, yeah.
I mean, technically, you could, but like the aerosol. What I'm gonna itself needs to be in order for the aerosol to have the desired effect, i.e., to render some of these Kolos non-combatants. They do need to be gathered within a tight enough area to get as much of the gas into their lungs as possible.
Could you could you say it could be concentrated?
Well,
I'm so sorry.
Well, normally it is concentrated. This is specifically Callie coming up with a new formula to make it work while less concentrated, i.e., aerosol version. Normally this is liquid, but yeah, it would need to happen in a relatively smallish area. It is heavier. The aerosol is heavier than air, so basically you would generate a cloud of it, and then that cloud would sink to the lowest, common denominator.
I have a question. Is this building over here, like in this far corner, being used for anything?
Mostly just like food storage and like farm tools.
Oh shit! I was about to say, probably not.
Probably kind of.
I mean, as far as like, well, by food though, I don't mean people food. I mean like.
Oh, animal food.
Food. Yeah, this is mostly like feed for animals. Like, there's a lot of chicken feed. There's a lot of like hay for the various cows and horses and all sorts.
Feed in the definition sense.
Because I was thinking, I had a plan actually. I was thinking like, with that building over there, I was like, since they've been saying that they've been seeing like a lot of scouts in this like general area over here. I was thinking like, maybe tricked the Kolos into thinking that that building had like a lot more worth than it actually had or whatever. That like they were storing maybe like food stuffs or something in there, like tricked them into believing that, so that they get the rest of the tribe to go and like try and like invade that building and then like lock most of the Kolos in there and then just gas them inside that building. That's what I
mean. That would actually be a pretty reasonable a thing. The Kolo camp is north of town, so they would be coming down on like either side of the titular yellow stream from up here. This building, as pointed out, is the most separate from everything else, making it the softest target out of everything.
Would you say it'd be beneficial to have somebody lead as many as possible there?
Like a person?
Because Tim, he points to his scarf, I can transform to look like a person. So I can like walk out.
You could turn into a Kola.
Yeah, or even more so like a human that got lost and then they start to chase me. I can run back to this area, and then while I'm running back, you could like drop it on as many as possible.
That
is
a good idea.
That would actually also probably be pretty good.
It'd be less risky
or
for
the
any of
Kolo
us
idea,
to
though. I don't know.
ourselves.
I don't know how well of a Kolo this scarf could mimic.
Well, because like if I remember, it can transform into anything you've seen, right? Like anything you have.
That's true. Would Tim have a?
And we've seen Kolos a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Mhm.
Though
Yeah.
we have the ability.
they might be suspicious of a random Colo they've never met.
It could be.
They go like, "Oh, we've never seen you. What's your name? What's your connection? Password kind of thing."
The Kolos that we met, the ones in the same tribe. Because if that's the question, you could just try to impersonate one of them or whatever, and be like,
yeah, you could. The thing is that the scarf is going to make you look like a random background NPC kind of like thing.
Yeah.
But you like okay, your scarf has the data in it for what a Colo looks like, so it can put together a generic Colo, and with Swag having like actually seen the Colos in question, and the fact that Tim has seen some of these Colos, they have attacked you twice, I would say that it would be enough that you could like mimic their mode of dress and like the fur pattern and whatnot, so that you look like you're a related Colo to them.
Close enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, like if they get up close to you, they'd be like, "Wait a second, you're not going to pass the sniff test." But from a distance,
if I call to him, be like, "Hey, I found food," or "I found food."
I just had an even worse idea. I was like, that invisibility rune? I was like, what if I applied that to Callie's clothes and had Dr. Tremors, like I'm like walking alongside the Colo version of Tim, and have Dr. Tremors be like speaking or mimicking sounds for Tim.
That would really sell that.
Work.
Real.
Okay, I think. Do we have a plan? This sounds like we might have a plan.
I think we have a plan, bro.
This is scarily coming together like perfectly into place.
Alright, how long would it take to apply the invisibility rune to, say, like, Kelly's clothing?
It literally takes like an hour.
With Tim's help. I was gonna say, with Tim's help, I could cut that in half if you'd allow me to.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're part of this plan just as much as I am.
I mean, it is going to be your fake fur ass on the line.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay then, Tim.
Really
for
Sorry,
purposes here, I'm gonna put you on the map.
Okay.
Let me take a brief moment to make sure that you're actually controllable by yourself.
Oh, I just had an even funnier idea. If he actually lures all of the Colos into that building and Callie's invisible, she could just be like, "Hey, yo, motherfucker," and then like reappear as she aerosolizes all of the Colos.
My only thing is, do we want them inside the building? Because if I don't know if we want to contaminate
inside the building is best.
Best.
Yeah,
okay.
Torque would point out that this actually sounds like a freakishly good plan, all things considered. What we should do though is probably tell the miners, have them go over to the barn to remove like the feed or whatever that they're going to keep for their farm animals, so that it doesn't get polluted, and then we wait in there. Tim leads them in with Mr. Servos, or not Mr. Servos, with the Dr. Tremors making noises, and then we drop the bombs on them and close the door, drop the bombs, and drop the latch on it.
Yes.
Tim was gonna be stuck in there. Hopefully it works, and hopefully Tim doesn't.
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
I ain't trapped in a barn full of Colos. You are all trapped in here with me.
So, somehow the love potion messes with his internal servos, and it just switches, and he just goes full berserk mode.
I'd imagine it downloads a whole new fucking code of just 100%. It's new directive. I love Callie, and it's just big old capital letters. Oh,
it just pops up in Tim's head Trojan detected. Trojan
pop up. Yeah, just full pop up. Have to download Opera to get the ad cover for it. Just pop up constantly. Protect Callie. It's
what was
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Okay. Then for this first part,
I also have good diplomacy, so it's even better.
Well, somebody is going to have to go talk to the miners to let them know what the plan is, and let them know that they need to temporarily pull out
They need to vacate
the important stuff from the barn.
They need to vacate.
Do we need to like convince them, or are they like if we explain the plan?
You won't need. They will not be. They will not.
Yeah,
need
it's
much.
just like, hey, we got a
just
plan.
really
We'll
just
get rid
need to
of these
explain
colos
to
for
them
you.
what the plan
Yeah, I
is.
was about to say, would they need any convincing after we clear out the entire mine?
You're like, hey.
Oh no. They don't need any convincing for that. They would just
I know.
a play-by-play on what
Give
the
them a
plan
heads
is
up.
supposed to be.
Okay, freakishly good plan. Yeah.
Freakishly good plan.
Hey, just walks over there. Hey, if there's anything that y'all have up in that abandoned storehouse or not abandoned, that storehouse up there that's got your tools and your feed in it that you don't want covered in alchemical supplies, y'all might want to get it out, because we got a plan that we're gonna use to just clear out this colo problem.
Most of them.
Most of
Are y'all setting a trap?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got you. Let me go swing this by Gertie, and we'll find out what she says. And if Gertie and the council are down, well then I guess we'll get out all the stuff that we wouldn't want.
Yeah.
You said alchemical supplies? Like what kind of alchemical supplies? We talking flammable stuff?
No. Nothing. It's not gonna burn down a building. It's not gonna blow anything up. Nothing like that. It's just gonna basically, they will no longer want to fight you or harm any of you guys.
Like put them to sleep or something?
Permanently placate them.
I do like permanency. All right, let me go tell Gertie, and I'll get back to you. Give me about like 10-15 minutes.
You got it. I didn't want to say like Tim didn't want to say the love potion, because if some does still get stuck there, then they gonna come back and be like, "You did this." And it's like
it turns out like a year down the line, somebody from Yellowstream comes knocking on the door at the camp, and it's like, "Hey, you guys, whatever the fuck you did up in that barn's now the fucking barn. Everybody keeps fucking in that barn."
it's the orgy barn.
It's the orgy barn. That's not what we.
The orgy barn.
Now there's a different kind of seed in it.
At that point, the cover story.
It's the rape party all over again.
Yeah. At that point, the cover story as well. That wasn't us. It was probably whatever the colos had.
Yeah, they're just freaky like that.
That's the influence of Lamash too.
I was gonna say, did you see their boss? Did you see what she looked like? She,
Yeah, that's her fault. Nothing
Who
I
did
had
that?
anything to do with,
Yeah, they did that.
If you have any
That's all
complaints,
them.
you gotta take it up with HR, and like the HR department is literally just a colo on a desk.
Sitting with a clipboard in a tie.
He's got a tie. He's got a clipboard and a sword.
It's just a tie. He's got like some fake ass glasses on. He's got like a fucking clipboard with papers in it.
Sorry, you're gonna have to take it up with the union rep.
Okay.
Turns to look at it, union rep, Callie.
All right then. So, long story short, roughly about 10-15 minutes later, the guy who is the dude who watches the boarding houses, he comes back with Gertie in tow, and like the rest of the council is like back at the council house where there's like a fucking nice warm chairs and a fire going, crumpets for them to snack on. Gertie, who is the tall-ish,
perfect. That's exactly
older
how I was imagining it.
human woman.
Yeah.
She comes in to see you guys, and she gets a rundown of the basics of what this plan is from y'all, just to confirm, what has been told to her and all that sort of stuff. And she tells you that, she's okay with that, even if quote unquote worst comes to worst and the barn is unusable or whatever, she'd rather sacrifice one building than
the whole town,
the entire village getting decimated by a group of hungry colos. So she's down for that. However, she does say that it'll probably she'll rustle up some men. It'll probably take them about an hour or so to get it otherwise cleared out.
That's perfect. It's about as long as it'll take Callie to
Yeah.
all that invisibility rune into her clothes.
All right then. So
Tim will also try and help.
okay then. Well, Tim, if you're going to help, make a craft check.
Make a craft check. Would anything special happen if I fished for a crit?
Maybe I give it one of those like quirks.
Oh.
You know what? Yeah. Oh damn, that's not good enough.
Wow. You rolled a 5.
Yeah. Hey,
Jeez.
I really want. I mean, I guess.
hey, you still passed nonetheless, but still, that's wild. He rolled a 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want one of those quirks, but at the same time, I'm like, do I want
What's-
one of those quirks?
What's
Wait, isn't it like I have to pass like a DC 9 or some shit? What was it? I think it was like a DC. Hold on, let me look
Well,
at my signature.
one of the? I was gonna say one of the quirks might be like it smells,
Critical
which we wouldn't
success
want.
says choose an item quirk from the table and the specifics. Roll a DC 9 flat check with the item is fully complete.
And that's for you. And that's for you to just choose one. That's not a random roll.
Yeah,
That's a you choose
that's
one.
for me to get to choose out of the 100 or something.
Yeah, it could also if it's
Yeah, I know.
Random-
I'd
well.
I'd rather probably not fuck around with Callie's clothes because
Yeah. By the way, what's that thing called? What's that thing called where you get a quirk?
It's signature crafting.
Signature crafting.
That's the feat.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
very
that's
rare.
the feat that allows you to pick.
Yeah, you
what
need. If
what
I
it
remember
is.
correctly, you need magical crafting, and then you need to be like a master for the master at crafting for the prerequisites. For
Yeah, I was just wanting to look at it. It's all good.
Yeah.
also be, like, level 7 as well.
Oh, also, this is a. I meant to mention this earlier, but like I was stuffing my face full of spaghetti. But when it comes to using specifically for Callie and for Tim, when it comes to using your daily reagents in order to like make ammo, I do believe that it does mean that the ammo that you make with is supposed to have a time limit before it
Well, yeah,
just
everything.
breaks.
Well, everything we make with the reagents has a time limit.
Yeah,
Most of
it
the
lasts 24 hours, so we have to
Yeah,
re-up it every
so-
time we get a new reagent.
Yeah, so the thing
But I
is, it
mean,
means that you will have to like keep track of like.
Oh, yeah, I've been
This is
keeping track of it
reagent,
every single time
yeah.
I make because like I can make a batch of 10 if I remember correctly. That's
Yes, each reagent
So,
gives
like,
you one
yeah,
batch
so,
of
like-
10 bullets.
So yeah, like I've been keeping track. Like every time, I want to keep my like elemental bullets. I subtract one reagent to like reinfuse it. So I've been trying.
And
to
if I don't,
keep
if I don't
Very
end up using all these life bullets before the next long rest, I'll get rid of them because then they'll be gone.
Okay, so then one last check before we do actually get to anything. Everyone has also got their hit points back at maximum. Has given themselves one. If you're not at max of 3.
maximum.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Maximum.
All right.
Oh boy.
Okie motherfucking dokie.
Let's blow this popsicle stand.
All right. So then, Tim, using collected data from himself and what was already installed on the specialized masquerade scarf from the other automaton test, you make yourself look like a Colo. So, you get the Colo disguise. Tim, I'm going to need you. First and foremost, I need you to make a survival check.
Okay.
He's good at those. Never
Oh,
mind.
you had to
Not
jinx
good
it.
at those.
You had to jinx it.
You just had to say
No,
it.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
We're all having good fun.
Actually, Tim.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see
Yeah, you
here.
didn't need to roll survival. You needed to
I was gonna say,
perception or something.
I'd say
No.
performance.
Actually, what I'm going to do is that during all of this like prep time, I'm going to say that Torque performed a harrowing
Yeah.
ritual.
Probably a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so she is going to perform a harrowing ritual. And Tim, I need you to roll a d6. Okay, a 4. All right. Well, here's the good thing, Tim. So, this harrowing is a reading for dealing with this Kolo tribe. That is the overall like umbrella that this covers.
That's good.
You have a wild card, which is basically a free reroll, and with a roll of 4, that means that your reroll applies to skill checks. So you get 1 free reroll of a skill check with a +4 bonus to it, to the reroll specifically. But you have to decide whether or not you're going to use that. It means that you don't use a hero point. So,
okay.
Yeah, so she performs that for you. Also, while we're at it, the other thing that Torque can do. Okay,
Just truly handling
I'm making
me to
note
make
of,
sure I
making
don't
note of the other
die.
stuff. Okay, so you can use a hero point, or you could just say you just use your
Yeah.
choice.
That I'll say I use that wild card, and so
Okay.
that's now a 32.
Okay then. All right. So, Tim, your what is your perception DC?
It's the number plus 10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
25.
Okay. Then yeah.
Master
You
of
are-
perception.
You are fucking good.
I can see.
Yeah. These guys don't have the stealth capable
make that
of, like,
roll.
of hiding from you. So these stinky colos, you basically head north with Invisible Callie and Dr. Shermers at your quote unquote at your side. Callie's keeping I would assume quote unquote safe distance from you.
Yeah.
You know, until you guys otherwise spot the colos, which you do. You do not have to go far to spot the colos, as they have already amassed a small. Well, if this was a different situation, hunting party, but in this situation, raiding party, that they are going to come down on town with. So, this hunting party, so that you are aware, is 6 colos. They are all armed, and just so that you're aware, they have bows, they have axes, and they have short swords and stuff like that, and plenty of daggers and that sort of stuff.
Just generally strapped. I get it.
Yeah, they're pretty strapped. 2 of them also, 2 of them don't have like bows or axes, or excuse me, bows or swords. They are dual wielding axes, but their axes are basically like butcher cleavers. So they're coming, you know, like that. Like.
The rust shoulder that he's got is starting to buzz. He's like,
You find them. You see them first. Okay, so they have not noticed you yet. What is Tim's stealth?
not good.
I believe in you.
That's why you're in the disguise.
Yeah. So my stealth is 2.
I believe in you.
Okay.
I
Okay. So
I mean, I
that means
have to
your
believe in
stealth
you.
is a DC 12.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you have a DC 12.
I have to believe you.
I was gonna say
On
the way
the
that
line
it-
as well.
the way.
Then Tim, it does not take long then
Oh, God.
for the colos who are coming in your direction to notice you, but they see another colo that looks like them, you know, like standing off, you know, over in that direction, and their first like immediate reaction that you can tell from them noticing you looking back and forth at each other and like, saying something in their native like Kolo language to each other of like, who's that guy? Like they very clearly react with like a bit of confusion, not necessarily like distrust or anything. But one of them looks over you and then like he raises up his like butcher cleaver and he makes a like very sort of specific sort of like wave motion at you with the cleaver,
as if
like he's signaling.
Oh God!
So, like,
oh
it's
God!
almost signaling for me to come closer.
Well, no, not signaling for you to come closer. Signaling to you of like, like a World War II battleship.
Hey, what are you
flashing
doing?
a light at another ship on the horizon of like, hey, are you a friendly?
Tim will speak. Tim will say quietly to Dr. Tremors, who is probably sitting on his shoulder invisibly, to say in their voice.
For Dr. Tremors to be invisible, Dr. Tremors has to be on Callie.
Oh, so Callie is okay. So Callie's probably
let's say Callie's like 10 to 15 feet away.
pretty close behind me, so it looks like it's coming from me.
Yeah, you could speak to them without the Kolos like, triggering the fact that you're speaking to somebody else.
Yeah. Tim would be letting Dr. Tremors know to say, I found a weakness in, or one of the stupid villagers left the door open at the building off the edge of the village. If we get in now, we may be able to hold a position to truly destroy this village for our mother.
Callie kind of looks at him hearing that and then says to Dr. Trevors, but dumb it down because these guys are stupid.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So like,
you use less words and less grammar.
you just hear a like kind of like loud Kolo laugh come out of Dr. Tremors, and like the other Kolos like look at each other, and then like one of them like lets out a hyena laugh like back in your direction, which Dr. Tremors mimics that again, and then like the lead Kolo like with the two like cleavers like puts up both of his cleavers, and like shakes him in the whole like yes.
Let's go
kind of thing, and then they start coming in your direction.
Okay.
I didn't think this far ahead. Fuck.
Tim like quells the panic that is pushing up in his core, and he goes, "They're just trying to follow me to where the place is." And then Tim's gonna turn around and like scuttle jog his way back to this building.
Okay. there is one potential downside that I see here, and that is Callie's foot speed.
Ooh.
Oh no!
How fast is Callie?
Callie is 5 feet slower than everybody else. So it's not like a huge thing, but what? I'm gonna ask Tim. I'm gonna ask Tim to make a deception or performance.
I was actually gonna say, can I pick, like, Callie's a kid. Can Tim pick Callie up and just like carry her while he runs, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible? If that's not a thing without it looking weird, then I'll do the performance or one of the other checks.
I would say that Callie, being relatively petite and everything, she probably could like cling to your back, and you just take a hunch. And you just take a hunched position and like scuttle forward through the underbrush.
Yeah.
That works. However, I am still going to ask you though for a either deception or performance, whichever you want to make.
Performance is +3. Deception is +3.
Pick your poison.
It's yeah. You roll low. Like,
You might, yeah.
You might want to hero point
You
that.
might want to hero point that one.
Okay. Come on, please.
Absolute same number.
All right. Let me make a check for the colos.
Can I do like a diplomacy or some kind of check to make it look even more convincing? Something. And
Well,
that's what the deception was for.
How would you like to make your scuttle forward? I am leading the other colos to like a good prize. More convincing to the colos.
More
How
convincing.
would you want to make it more convincing?
I have like 12 to intimidation, so maybe like.
I think they're
I don't
asking
know
like
if, like,
how are you acting
scaring
it, how are you acting it out maybe.
Yeah. So
Yeah, how are you acting it out? Like, describe this to me, because you are currently a hunched hyena man running through the underbrush with a bunch of other armed hyena men coming up behind you, who are not like pursuing you in a combat sort of way. They are still like
following me.
they are still leading, but you've got to lead them for a while before they catch on to, wait a minute, something might be funky here. And one, you're a robot, not a colo, and two, you do have an invisible teenager on your back. So there's,
I do this.
there's some circumstance here that they may like, catch something.
They may start
of this jig.
catch something.
Yeah.
Fuzzy, for shenanigans' sake,
Mm-hmm.
so shit doesn't happen. Could it be like someone's telling Swag to turn back the clock?
Uh,
I will use that once a day thing for this.
Does it only work for him though?
that's a very good important question. Can you do that for other people, or is it just you?
It's just me, but we have done it before for Mulligan's sake.
I mean,
You know what?
Close...
You know what? I'm gonna say that they are on the edge of the clearing as they're like making the way forward to the barn. So they are within sight range. Normally, this only works for Swag, but you know what? If you're willing to give up your use of the ability for the day, then we can give that to Tim, and Tim can try one more time with the +1.
VHS rewind sound effect.
Yeah. Try that again, Tim.
Deception
With a
or
+1.
With a +1. Okay, so that's +4. Alright. I'm on deception again.
There we go.
That's a 20.
Okay. That's a 20. All right. That is okay. So as Tim is like going along, Swag, who can see like the other colos, which technically Tim can't because Tim is leading the colos. Since he can see the other colos, he sees one of them kind of like sort of like start doing that dog paying attention, interesting sort of like head tilt as they're like looking at Tim with like a squinty eye, like, wait a second. And he's like, no. And there's the whole VHS like rewind thing. They go back a few steps and then it comes forward without them doing that. And they catch up to Tim and sort of like fan out around Tim as Tim is leading them up to this barn. Because they are focused on like following Tim to where he's going, I'm going to say that they are distracted when it comes to like stealth. So this is where the rest of the party now gets their opportunity to fuck things up.
No.
Damn it, bro.
Okay, so it would essentially be Tim would like try and lead them from here. So like they would be coming around this door. He would be either following them or would go around the other side saying like, I keep lookout, and try and open the door for them to let him in.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay. Rest of the party.
That's a good question. Where did we? Are we like hiding in the trees here, or? In the building?
There's plenty of hiding. There's plenty of hiding in the building.
Mm-hmm.
This is a barn that does have a raised, like, not really a like full on second floor, but there are raised bits up near the roof where like they store tools and bits like that. So there's plenty of places where you guys can basically just crouch above everything, wait till the colos get like walked in, somebody closes the door, and then everyone else drops down the aerosol canisters that gases the colos.
Yes.
So if you aren't Tim and if you aren't Callie, I'm gonna need stealth checks.
Can I kind of do like, I'm not trying to like railroad the things, but like can you do like the thing like where we do like that kind of group role thing, or
Yep. June being an expert can lead by experience. and give everybody a
giving gassing colos.
Honest, not bad rolls, all things considered.
Yeah, not terrible rolls, actually.
All pretty good rolls, honestly.
All right, Torque. Let's not fuck
Doing
this
way
up.
better than we
Come
were
on.
doing.
Not the DMPC, please. Oh,
Okay. Torque does not fuck things up.
the rogue's girlfriend. Of course she knows stealth.
Of course. Okay.
I'm just
so,
a magic ball, bro. I don't know what you want me to do.
There's an orb sticking in the wall.
okay. So, who wants to do the honors of closing the door on the code?
I will.
Tim? Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Callie, do it.
All right. So, Tim, shuffles through the door first. Callie, who is, been like riding on his this whole time, just
Hopping off his back.
pops off, and like quick scuttles over to the side, as the rest of the colos follow into the barn. Tim just takes them to the far side of the barn, so like up here on the map. Tim's at the front, colos are coming in the back, and as soon as the last colo enters into the barn, Callie swings the door shut, drops the latch, which would be the trigger for everybody else to gas the colos.
Yeah,
Do we
Tim
need to make
says
like
in the
Go ahead.
Tim says in the final moment, drops his costume and goes, "It'll be a gas," and then
I'll be a gas, Batman.
Do we need to make like an attack roll or something?
No, because
What are you
you
doing, Joker?
you guys are just dropping
Okay,
these
okay.
off. So yeah,
Think that
so
shit is.
so Tim the colo turns around to the other colos as they all get. What's in here that we want to take? Is like it's gonna be a gas, and they all like look at him like,
gas.
what did you just fucking say? And then down come the like vials and bottles and whatnot of this pink substance, which burst and plume out and just completely gas up.
It'll be a
inside the
lovely
place.
time.
You know what? Tim, make a cringe check.
Yes. What do I roll for that? Let me roll a d20. Hold on.
Make a will save. Make a will save.
Make a will save!
A will save.
Cringe save is a
Ah, Tim is immune to cringe.
Tim is cringe, but he's free.
They have killed the part of them that cringes.
Yeah.
He
Kill the
got
part
rid
which
of it.
cringes.
He cut off the part of himself.
Okie friggin' dokily.
I was also going to say Tim has stubborn, which means if he has to make a will save, he can roll it again
Oh.
and can do it better the next time. Tim really doesn't care about cringe.
Okay, so there, thanks to the party's, honestly, really like good planning here. This goes off with next to no hitches whatsoever. The pink gas fills the bottom of the barn. There is a lot of like shouting from the colos in surprise, and they all start turning around as they get covered in the like pink mist and everything, which just stirs up the pink mist more. And so they're shouting and like going, what the fuck's going on? As they're caught by complete surprise. They just like inhale buckets
Good.
of this
Breathe
stuff.
deep.
I'm going to roll a.
Is Dr. Tremors fucking doing the hyena laugh while he puts the gas mask on?
Yeah, he's doing the hyena laugh as he like puts on his own tiny little gas mask.
Full evil.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll just a base save for this group of Kolos, just a single base will save for them, and only if they critically succeed are they like not gonna get fucked by this. All right, you don't roll a 20, which they don't. Okay,
There you go.
so all right.
Is Tim in the gas?
I mean, yes.
Do
Tim
they?
is in the game.
I mean, since you're probably in there,
I was
you're.
gonna say
Yeah.
Tim
I was gonna take care of the Kolos first. Then I was gonna
Oh,
ask
yeah.
him.
Oh, my bad.
Callie, what's your class DC?
My class DC is a 23.
Oh my god.
All right, Tim, give me another will save. This time not versus Quinn.
So I reread it and I just looked. It only works for controlled conditions. So would this love be controlled condition?
Oh my god.
I mean,
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. So using my stubborn feat, your proficiency rank for will saves is expert. If you fail against a will save that would give you the controlled condition, you can attempt a second save against the effect at the start of your next turn. This is all happening at once, so I assume I'd be able to do it again.
Yeah, you'd be able to do it again just immediately.
I don't love Callie.
I
Get rid of that malware, that Trojan horse in my.
Trojan detected. Trojan detected.
His virus alert came up.
He said no.
Tim
He forgot
Tim
to update.
successfully uses nuh as a
My
defense.
McAfee just opens.
Yeah, I was about to say his fucking antivirus needed to update real quick.
Virus deflected.
Like the fucking McAfee like logo just pops
Yeah.
up on just
Well,
pops up on
viruses
Tim's
have been
HUD.
detected.
Okay, so yeah, for a moment there, Tim, like you get this like whole like kind of wooziness, honestly, as it hits the filters and whatnot that are gas exchange systems and all that sort of stuff. You get the warning of like, wait a second, this shit ain't right. And like there's a brief flash of like, imagine like Callie's face but done in the style of Mr. House from Las Vegas. Like, there's a brief flash of that, and then it just like, and then it wipes it, and it's like, Trojan detected, Trojan contained, Trojan ejected. And there's like a coughing noise from like your, like you backfire.
Low system to cough.
But the Kolos, however, they struggle for like a good like 12 seconds or so